Welcome back everybody, my name is Honey and I answer questions that no one asked. Since the dawn of humanity, the age of fictional characters has been a constant source of debate for the greatest minds of our time. Is it okay for you to be attracted to a fictional character that has been labeled 16 years old by her creator when she's more capable, resilient, and emotionally stable than any romantic partner you ever had? Should we ban everyone who doesn't exceed the height of consent from engaging in romantic relationships? I'm still reading from the fact that that's a combination of words my eyes were actually forced to behold. Was everyone served wine at the Last Supper of legal drinking age? Truly, the questions our finest historians still mull over to this day. Thus, we have come together on this day to answer the important questions of our time. Which of the top 3 Mihoyo games has the lowest average age? Such that we may know whom to point our fingers at judgmentally while skillfully glossing over our own repressed shame. The footage for this video was recorded live on stream, so if you want to be part of the making of these, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join when I'm live. But without further ado, let us jump right into our factually 100% correct analysis. We don't care about politics, we don't care about any serious topics whatsoever in fact, we only care about stupid such as figuring out what the ages of Mihoyoverse characters are. Here's the idea everybody, this is very simple. We are simply going to determine which Mihoyoverse game, or rather which of the top 3 Mihoyoverse games, has the lowest average character age. And thus, we will make a lot of people very uncomfortable in exposing them for their questionable tastes. Now, how are we going to do this? We're simply going to collect whatever information that we can about the ages of different characters in the Mihoyoverse games, and then we're going to get the average of all of these games and compare them to each other to figure out which is the game with the lowest average age. We have lists of character ages that exist that were supplied by the gamer, as it were. So we have 2 issues here. 1, I don't know how much the gamer can be trusted. 2, we have age ranges here, so we're not quite sure what the actual real age of the character is. And 3, some of these obviously can't be trusted. Like, what the hell do you mean 500 plus years? So we're not gonna deal with that. We need rules. Number 1, we will be using a character's physical age. So if any list is telling me that we're dealing with a 500 years old god that lives in the body of a 12-year-old girl, I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to write up 12-year-old girl. Okay? Because I ain't dealing with that. Second of all, we're removing everybody who exceeds 100 years. Even if they tell you, alright, this is a 250-year-old character, it will throw the average out of whack so much that I simply can't deal with them. So even if it's true, we're going to ignore that. Because I don't want, like, I don't know, Zenless Zone Zero to have some guy who's 500 years old who increases the average for the game to such ridiculous degrees that we can't have good actual, like, readable data. And number 3, for all of the age ranges, I'm not actually sure yet how we're gonna do that. Either we take the median value of the age ranges, or we're taking the lowest value for each age range, but I tend towards taking the median. These are the rules. These are the rules of engagement that we're gonna go by. It's very simple, all right? There's just no magic here. There's no black magic. I have taken these lists of ages for each character from the gamer. Now I'm going to go through all of them and look at every single one of these characters to see if I'm gonna be calling bullshit on that. And number 2 is that I have to look at some of these anyway, because there are a lot of ages in here that are just unknown. Okay, so we're going to have to make a guesstimate on what the character age actually is. We need neither the birthday nor the gender of any of these characters. I literally don't care. I almost have a feeling that Zenless Zone Zero is going to be the oldest characters. Alright then, Genshin first. I'm going to have to preface this with saying I don't know anything about these games or these characters. I have played every one of these games very briefly, and then I remembered that I hate gaccha games and the concept of gaccha, and that I will never enjoy it. Clearly I'm the most appropriate person to be making a judgment on these characters' ages. Okay, so albedo, bro, that is not an 18-year-old. Come the fuck on. You know, I mean, yeah, maybe that is the face of an 18-year-old. It's a very, you know, it's hard to say. I will give you the benefit of the doubt and will say that you're 18. Kamisato Ayaka, 18? She could be 19. Yeah, alright. I'll give you 19 and I'll move on from there. Oh, Amber is difficult. I could see her being older than 20. I would believe you if you told me she's 19 or 20. I'll put her on 19. Arataki Ito. What do you mean? Like, isn't he clearly older than 23? Honestly, I feel like he's older. Nobody knows. Great information. All right, I'll round it up to 25. I think that's appropriate. Arlecchino. Who's Arlecchino? Are they male or female? We'll give you 27. Barbara. Oh, I don't know about Barbara. Just looking at her, I'd say that she's 16. I wouldn't have a problem believing you if you told me that she's a little older than that. I'll give you a 17. Man, like, how many areas do you have at this point? This looks like Egypt. I think when I stopped playing Genshin Impact, they are just about to release Sumeru. It's crazy. This is what I'm calling a little bit of shenanigans. I don't know about that one. I'll play along. That's a big from me. How are you any older than 16? That's bull. That is baloney. I mean, on that image, she looks a little bit older, actually. Maybe the image that they had on that website didn't help her much. I'll give you the 22, but I'm not giving you 23. Yeah. Yeah. You are not 18. The Luke, 22 to 26, really? That old? Crazy, man. How do you do it, man? Oh, there we are. That's our first sussy candidate. The sussy pink cat girl. 13? You know what? I'll give you 13. I'm rounding down here because I don't think she's any older than that. I don't believe it. I ain't buying a chief. Really? You're telling me that, like, she's in her late 20s? Like, you sure? I'll say 28. Why do you look like an idol character? Official. Yeah, alright, 16. Why does she look like Cecilia Immergreen? Why is she blue Cecilia? Hydro Archon. I don't know what that means, nor do I care. Ganyu. 3,000. Yeah, sure. You're 22 now. 23. Fine. Utao. You know, she looks like she's a little older. She's just flat. Perfectly fine the way she is. You're not 16. You are not 16. There's no universe in which you are 16. I do not believe you. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get in the 14 bracket. Here she is. Miss Sussy herself. I actually love her. She's great. I love everything that's small and cute, so naturally, I will love Klee too. And I think 9 years old is an appropriate estimation. Lisa. Oh, everybody loves Lisa, right? 29. She's not quite 30 yet. Why do you have bikers in this game? What is she riding on? What is happening? I thought this was a fantasy setting. Oh, Nahida. 500 years old? I'm afraid I'm gonna have to call bull on that. 14 to 16, now that we can work with. I'm not giving you any older than 14. Like, girl, come the hell on. I would give you 12 if I could. Unfortunately, I am bound with the range that I'm given here. You're no day older than 14. Now, this guy could be 50 for all I know. Apparently, he's 6,000 years old in canon, which I don't care. But I'll make you 28. Noel, is that young? I guess we don't know for sure, but that's a surprise. Like in his mid-20s? That sounds about right. Host body, 8 to 9 years old. 100 plus is a reincarnation. You are 8. Don't even try. Don't even try to ruse me. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of it. What the hell is your name? Sangonomiya. Sangonomiya Kokumi. That's actually not as difficult as I thought it was. 23 I can live with. 11 at most. I'm getting the feeling that Genshin might be winning. I have a certain suspicion as to where this is going. What are you? I love that design. He's very cute, but no younger or older than 14. The Traveler, 16. Seems like an appropriate age for any protagonist, actually. Why does she have a taco? I remember Benti. He's cute too. I loved him. He's 16. I don't think he's like 15. He's at least like a little older, right? I'm not just coping, right? Surely he's at least 16. I want this to be true. Telling me this lady is only 22 years old? Yeah, but I'm taking the maximum out of that range. What do you mean? She could be 16. Maybe it's a little too much boobage for a 16-year-old? I don't know. I don't want to debate that right now. That might get me in trouble. Yo, what the hell is going on? 9. Yeah, I mean, we can't go with 9 years old, but that would have been my estimation too. With the data that exists, apparently she's between 10 and 12 years old, but I will go for the low range here. Why do you look like Saber? Why does everything look like Saber? You're getting a 19. Get all of these Artorias out of my face. And Zhongli. He's probably the oldest out of the bunch, though I will make him 30. Looks very, very regal and refined, that man. Starting off with a strong 20.61 average age for Genshin Impact, which is to be expected with a gaggle of characters below the age of consent. But let us not judge too harshly too soon, for there are still 2 rosters of characters to go through, which may or may not yet topple the king of I'm not saying that in a video. Okay, Genshin. I mean, I will give you some flag for the existence of Yao Yao and Klee. Overall, Genshin probably still has the most characters that are below 16 years old. But okay, I'll accept that. Star Rail. Okay, sure. Star Rail. Show me what you got. Why is she like a Greek goddess? What is happening in that game? Surely she's at least 20. I'm gonna stick with that. Over 700. I'm gonna ignore that. You're 19 now. He seems quite youthful to me. Bailu. Excuse me? Excuse me, Bailu? You trying to be 18 years old? Is that what that is? Yeah, that's the wrong Bailu. It seems like she's like a different race, and that makes her appear younger than she is. My guy. I give you 16. I will subtract a few years for racial nonsense. I will call baloney on that. Blade. Yeah, Blade could be a little older. Or maybe it's just edgy. I don't know. 26 is like, I can see that. Boot Hill. What a name. What a name and what an absolute outfit. She's got some drip on him. 28. Yeah, all right. Sure. Okay, so now we have one where we actually don't have any information. She looks a little like all of the other early 20 ones. Maybe slightly younger. But this is the first one where we actually don't have any data on. I could go a little lower, but I would think that she's in her 20s. I'll say 20 for now. Clara! Yeah, okay. Clara's clearly a child, but I wouldn't say that she's 10 necessarily. It says here that she's 10 to 12 years old. All right, yeah, I'll believe that. I'll believe that she's 10. Why do you look like Blade? Just, I think in lore he actually was Blade. Dr. Ratio. What a name. What an absolute name. I mean, he is a doctor. Just for getting the doctor title, you need like, what, 8 years? It takes a long time. So I will put him on 35, which makes him the oldest character so far and the smartest character so far, since he is a doctor. Okay, Fuchuan, what about you? I will concede that you are very much my type, but what age are you actually? 21? Sure. Very small, very petite. I don't think she's like a minor. I hope. Otherwise, I might be in trouble. Ooh, I like this guy. He's great. He's cool. He's the kind of man I want to be. Just own a bar and chill out there and serve drinks and roses. And drinks with roses in them. He's 30, sure enough. For sure, right? Got all that swagger going on. Yeah, no way are you as old as Gallagher. No way, my man. You're 27 now. Take it or leave it. That's a pretty large range. 18 to 25. Do we know anything about this girl? I'd say 21. 21? We're skipping over Herta because she's a puppet. And there's like a real human being that's controlling her remotely as far as I remember the lore of this game. Therefore, it wouldn't make sense to include her in the average age. Ignored because puppet, and puppet lives don't matter. Himeko, yep. Probably oldest female character so far. Yeah, Hook. You're not getting off the hook that easy. Well, I thought Star Rail didn't have any sus characters, but here we are. 10 is like fine. I'll roll with that. Whoa. He's a little older than Hook, right? So just based on what Hook looks like, I think Huo must be a little bit older. Maybe I'm wrong and I just don't understand ages. That's always a possibility. Why does she look like that one VTuber? Looks like that, right? There's a little bit of a similarity here. So how old is Amelie then? That would make her 33. You would be sharing an age with Amelie, and I think you do look 33, so we can stick with that. Now he's a little bit older. He's got that kindness in his smile, which I like a lot. Could be in his mid-30s, actually. Oh, Kafka sure is in her late 20s to 30s. I believe that without even asking. Luocha, apparently over 500 years old, but we don't have that option. Late 20s, early 30s, somewhere in that range. Lynx, similar situation to Fuchuan. Probably in her early 20s, but just with a very small and petite body, which is fine. Yeah, March. You are no day older than 19, and I will not accept any other opinions on this. Why do you look like Gilgamesh? What's going on with you? Why is fate in this? Natasha is an older woman. Remember, chat, older woman means 26 to... no... 26. Sometimes older woman does mean 26, but in this case, older woman means 36 to 39. I'm comfortable giving her 37. It feels like Star Rail has the oldest female characters. I don't know what it is about her. Maybe it's her demeanor, maybe it's her pose, but I think she's a little bit older than 21. Cinque. Or is it Cinque? I don't know. Chinese people, please tear me apart in the comments and tell me how to actually pronounce these things. 21. Like, surely. She's so stupid. There's no way she's any older than that. Look at that. Look at that amazing street style design. Finally, we're doing something that's fun and cool and creative. Sampo, my main man. Actually, 27, he's like in a higher range. Serval, 28 to 30. Yeah, that sounds about right. She's a little older, yeah. Practically already a, what's it called? He's a hag? Yeah, let's go with a hag. Silver Wolf, 17, save 17. What is happening in this image? What is going on in that game? I'm scared. No, this is the actual Herta. It's no longer a puppet, so her life matters again. The Herta. And since her life matters now, she can be 20. The Trailblazer themselves. The good old trash raccoon. Even the main character is older in Star Rail. Tribby, what are we doing? What is going on? 10 to 12 years old. Yeah, that's a 10-year-old. Look, Tribby, I don't know what you're doing here, but it's dangerous. Go home to your parents. Those puppy eyes will not convince me to put you in a battle of life and death. I got completely derailed by Tribby over here, because all of these Star Rail characters were actually of age. They actually had very high average ages, and Tribby comes in and like topples all of them. Okay, well, like, listen, man. 80 years old? Like, are you for real? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Look at this guy. Look, that's not an 80-year-old man. That's not what 80 years old. Okay, listen. We're going to have to do some research on this. You are not 80 years old. I don't believe you. I need a second opinion. All right, fine. He has gray hair. You know what? 50. I'll give you 50, but I will not give you... Mid-50s. That's all I'm willing to do, all right? Yeah, so apparently in lore, he has an ability that allows him to reconstruct his own body, which makes it so that he ages slower than the average person. So I can see that he has some gray hair over here. And it's like, okay, fair enough. He's got some bags under his eyes. It's like fair. He's like aged, but not 82. Since you're saying 40, I will take that down again and I'll put him on 50. It's really hard to tell. I think that's about where he'll be sitting, is somewhere between 40 and 50. And I will die on that hill. And then tomorrow I get actually shot. And I'll say, why did I say that? Do not believe his lies. 82-year-old. Gotta be kidding me. Why was I looking for moon balls? I think I just wanted balls for the office. This is no time to be looking at balls, chat. Alas, determining the age of all the characters in Star Rail leaves us with an average age of 23.26 years, which is not nearly enough to dethrone Genshin Impact from its current position as the sussiest gaccha. But there is still hope, for one more challenger waits in the wings, ready to fight for glory. So the last one is going to be significantly faster, since we only have like 37 to go through. Zenless Zone 0. I don't know what to think about Zenless. I think the Zenless characters are probably the oldest on average. I don't think they have anyone below 16. Zenless, you might be winning in terms of oldest characters. Good old Anton. Yeah, 24 seems fine, but these guys have a little bit more pizzazz. Ben. Okay, no, I don't know. What do you want me to say? That's just a bear. Fortunately, they do give us an age for Ben, which makes him 35 years old. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for his service. Okay, Billy is a similarly difficult situation because he's like a robot, I guess, or part robot, or cyborg, or whatever. It says he's in his mid-20s, so I'll just take that at face value. Bernice. Oh, God. I love Bernice, but she's crazy.
So warm.
She's a crazy woman. It does say that she's in her mid-20s. I actually have guessed her around 26. But maybe that's just because I know how she acts. And I know that she has a bar. So handling alcohol, surely she's a little older than that. Bernice, you are a treasure. Alright, so problem is, she has more boobs, but I still think she's a little younger than Bernice, based on general attitude. Zenless has the superior character designs because all of these have so much swag. Ignore the boobage. Okay, that's a sharp girl. And apparently she's 17, which makes sense. I believe that canonically she's in high school or something. Fair enough. 27 or 28. 28 is fine. Purely based on the fact that she is a very skilled mechanic. Surely it took a few years to gain those skills. Why does this man look like he's trying to sell me things? I'm not interested in buying any insurance. Thank you. Hugo Vlad. I'm glad they give me a range, because otherwise I would have actually not known what to do here. Because he could be in his 40s, but he could also be in his 30s. You're saying 30? I'm saying 30. I'm saying 32. I will correct it down to 31. Okay, another relatively famous one. And I believe that she was like in her late 20s. I feel like she probably appears or she behaves older than she actually is. 30 for Jane? Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, 28, sure. Oh, Jufufu. I love her as well. Very small, very cute, very quirky, and also apparently in her mid-20s. I wouldn't guess her older than 22. I'm okay with that. That means I'm not sus. Everybody else is sus. So Kaleda is like strange. Initially, I thought she was like 16 or 17 years old, but she's also the CEO of a company, which makes her naturally a little bit older. So I'd say between 18 and 20 is probably fine. Gonna just put Jufufu on the stream. Why do I have Bernice there? I don't know what I used that image for. There she is. She's gonna be there instead of me. Surely that's gonna make the experience better. Alright, just peek her in. Be on your best behavior, chat, otherwise she's gonna pounce you. Lighter is 28, sure. Miyabi, 20 to 25. What do I do with Miyabi? I can't forget that she's like the captain of whatever the squad was, but she's the captain of it. And like canonically the strongest character. So surely she's a little bit older than just 20, 21. 24, I think that's okay. Nekomata. Nekomata is another one of those that I really love. But also, there's no way that she is much older than 21, right? Either way, Nekomata, you're 21. I can live with that truth in my life. Nicole, I actually thought she was older than 23. I felt like maybe 25, but okay. Why are you a panda? I don't think I'm going to include him because there's no way for me to know. Ignored because bear. Tingy, who the hell is this? Is she even human? Is this a Herta situation? Okay, ignored because robot. Sokaku, blue Oni is unknown. Well, Oni age is very nice. I would love to have her around me, but alas, that is not something that can be done. Looks like 20 maybe. She's got something very motherly about her. I'd actually put her on 35. And got some representation for older women in here. Oh, that's her. It's the new girl, right? She looks like a brat. Very bratty grin, which I appreciate as well. But apparently she's very young, so 18 it is, which is also appropriate for a brat. It turns out that instead of taking the title of sussiest game from Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero in fact has the highest average age of characters at 24.45 years old. So Zenless may not have won this contest, but it may be winning the prize of decency, which it doesn't, for other reasons. And after this drawn-out process of looking at every single character currently in the big three Mihoyo games, Genshin Impact emerges as the clear winner of the title of sussiest game. Which is the somewhat expected outcome considering Klee and Chi-Chi are the two youngest characters in all Mihoyo games combined. Genshin Impact is also the only one among any of them with any character that's less than 9 years old. Wow, they're really going the extra mile, look at that. And Klee doesn't even pretend like she's some kind of deity or undead that's over 100 years old. No, straight up preschooler. Awesome. In other news, Natasha and Veld are both the oldest female and male characters over all Mihoyo games respectively, even disregarding Veld's filthy lies. And yet, the characters in Star Rail are not the oldest on average, as that prize goes to Zenless Zone Zero, where actually only Corrin and Ellen are under 18 years old. Neither of the two is younger than 16 years old either, while most of the other characters in the game are in their mid-20s. So congratulations, Genshin Impact, you truly did it. I'm not quite sure what you did or what we achieved here today, but it sure is something. Genshin Impact, even though having the most characters, has the lowest average age by a long shot, actually. And it was Zenless Zone Zero being the oldest average age of characters. So Genshin Impact simultaneously has the two youngest characters over all of the three Hoyoverse gaccha games. Thank you, Genshin Impact. Very cool. And Zenless Zone Zero is the only one with two bears.